Good day, eh?
How's it going,
Good morning, everyone. Well, actually,
Hey.
it is afternoon right now for me. So good afternoon if
Good.
you're on the East Coast.
Well, it's still morning here, so
The
all right.
We haven't done this in a while. It's not kind of nice.
No, we have not. We have not. This is kind of a winter thing for me because I don't work in the wood shop in the summer. Generally, this is a fall wood shop day. It's kind of an emergency wood build because I didn't get my budding gear to do this summer. Uh, I kind of waffled on what I wanted to do, honestly. So
You know, so this last weekend I was at the Virginia Beekeepers Association
yeah,
meeting.
I didn't notice that you did a live. I don't know why I didn't get
Did I
notification.
did I do a
I was
live? I don't know that I did a live.
Was it Lee? Because Lee was on it.
Oh, that would have been an old one.
Oh, was that an old one? It
Yeah,
just came up
it was an
on
old.
YouTube for me today. So okay, I thought that was on the weekend. Sorry. So
Well,
that's why I didn't get notification.
I had some really interesting conversations.
Good.
We'll kind of get into those in a little while, probably. But
And I
Michael Bush was
apologize in advance. My air compressor hasn't started yet, so you can bet it's going to start pretty soon.
Michael Bush was there. Mike Berry
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
Tons of nice people. The state of Virginia. It was a nice experience. A little bit smaller conference, but it was it was good. We've gone back and forth about those like easy fill automatic bottle fillers, and I've told you in the past that I've got one, but it was before Hilco had theirs, and I had bought it at Hive Life conference. I guess the last Hive Life conference was at 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And I really, after I bought it, it's like I did one video for YouTube so people could see how they work, and then I'd never used it again. So I was having a discussion with the guy from Hilco. Well, I'm sitting there because he had one of his fillers there, and I said, I like it.
Was it John was out or was somebody else?
No, it was somebody else. And so I said, I like it. However, I've got that pneumatic air valve, and by the time I set up the bottle filler machine, that it just ends up being another piece of equipment I have to use because I can just step on the foot valve and do the same thing really quick. Now the weights are off a little bit sometimes, but because that's Bob Air, right? Doing it.
Those scales aren't perfect either. They're pretty close. They're very close, but they're not perfect.
So he said, well, I started going into sometime if I don't warm the honey up for a long period of time, that I can get the valve can get crystallization in it, which I then have to clean out. But because there's honey in the tank, I can't just pop the valve off and clean the valve out. So it's kind of an error. He says, well, I got just the thing for you. Oh, you do you? So Hilco has a stainless steel adapter that will replace where the gate valve is, or the gate valve is for your bottling tank, that you can just bolt this in place, and then that hose that you would normally put in a 5-gallon bucket for your pump, it has a barb fitting on it, so you can literally just hook that to your bottling tank and it goes straight to the easy fill machine, or speed fill is what Brian's saying. So I was like, you know what? That would be perfect. Of course, it's I think it was $50, right at $50 for that, and it's pretty substantial piece there. So I just thought that would work for me. And I was like, you know what? I'll wait till tomorrow, till Sunday to buy it. So I don't have to like figure out what I'm going to do with it until I load the truck back up and all that stuff. Well,
He didn't have one on Sunday.
No, I was unaware that they weren't going to be there on Sunday. So they kind of came down, set everything up for Saturday. Then at the end of the day, Saturday, they packed up and went on. So, so I missed my potential opportunity there.
I don't know how that's going to fix your granulation problem, though.
Well,
because that'll granulate in there just as well, right?
Well, yeah, but it does have a valve on it, so I could actually disconnect that hose and everything.
But the valve that's on it, how is that valve different than the valve you're dealing with now? Because granulation.
The big difference is my valve that I have now, it's spring loaded, and it sticks out from the gate valve a little bit, and then it's because it's pneumatic. It has the long piece with the spring and everything in it. So what tends to happen is if I wait too long to warm the tank back up again, or if I bottle too much and then I run out and I have to go back later, it'll really hinder that mechanism from being able to go, and it stands off probably, I don't know, a couple inches, 2-3 inches away from the tank. So if it gets in that pipe, it's really hard to clean out, right?
I think the valve you're talking about is the same as what's on the bottling tank that we were using on Saturday. And I had the same problem because
did you?
There was some honey in it, and it was not solid, but it was pretty well granulated at the bottom for sure. And I thought I might have to get my heat gun out, but just enough time. I just stood there and it was dribbling out. So I got the jacket nice and hot, and then it loosened up enough. But yeah, that's definitely a real problem, and I left honey in it too, so I'll have the same problem when I go back to it.
Let me see. What am I reading here? I don't think Bob currently has an on-off valve to disconnect his filler. Unless it's tank. Correct. Correct. that is correct. It's hooked directly to the tank, right? There's nothing where I could shut it off and then pull the valve and clean the valve and put it back on.
I thought he was going to say Bob has no filter.
I don't have that either.
I was going to say he doesn't have a filter either.
Don't have that either, for sure.
Guess what I'm building today?
I know, but you're going to tell me so everybody else can know.
Insulated covers. It's a pretty simple design and nothing too special, but the big difference with it is, and what it is just a box, and I'm going to put polystyrene inside the box, put a cover on it. There's a little upper entrance there for wintering, and the big difference is, though, they fit these polystyrene lice in boxes. At least they should. I haven't test fit it yet.
You have to tilt your camera down a little bit. Your Brad in the workshop name is covering us up right there.
Yeah, I'll give you a shot. So that's the polystyrene box, and they're 1.5 inch wall thickness. So the equipment, I don't want something that's not going to cover it because I could get water infiltration under there. So I want it to be the same size. It looks like I nailed it. I have a measuring tape. That's how I could nail it. It's not too wide. It's a 16th narrow, but I don't think these boxes are 100% all the same. But anyway, so I got my little 7/8 half-inch eye entrance, and yeah. So I'm going to put the polystyrene in here, and then I'm actually making brand new migratory covers for these just for the polystyrene box and just for this box. So it's going to go over top. I've got the plywood cut, mostly cut. I've still got to trim it to size, but that's the plywood for the cover. And then I'll make cleats and stuff just like my normal
Right.
cover, of which I have a sample here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. It's somewhere around. Oh, there it is.
The you know what?
So this
And
is what I'm making. Of course, you know, that's my standard migratory cover, but it's for a wooden box, so it's too small. So I'm just making a larger one for these.
I could throw you a curveball there, Brad.
Yeah.
Just a food for thought. Like the
Yeah.
inner cover.
Yeah.
If you put a hole with a tent plug in it, when it gets closer to spring, and you know, I'm assuming these are for outdoor wintered hives, that that you could just pull that tent plug out, throw your patty right over on top of it, over the hole for the spring, until you know, in case it's a little bit cool still.
So here's why I'm building it this way. I'm going to have my standard 2-inch feed hole with the yellow feed hole plug in it in these, so that when spring does come and I want to feed with syrup, then this will come off. That Reflectix foaming will go on top of here, and then the new migratory cover will fit this box. Okay.
Right.
If I'm going to, because I only have this shim is actually not quite ½ inch, so it's not very much. And if I need to feed fondant or anything like that, I'm going to. I have shims. I'm going to build some nice shims for these too. So I'll just add a shim. If I'm feeding fondant and or patties of any kind, I can just put a shim right on this, and then that'll just raise this insulated cover up a little bit. So that's what I did last year. It worked well. So yeah, you know, more equipment, but you know, my equipment is getting old, and it'll be nice to use some newer stuff and stuff that fits and whatnot. There's going to be a lot of projects come down the pipe because of the size of these, and I don't want to have to rebuild all my two-way pallets. So I need to make. I'm going to make a. Oh, it's buried. I can't even get at it. I'm going to make a slatted rack for the bottom.
Right.
So I'll make a slatted rack. It'll actually, on the outside, it'll look a lot like this. So I'll have a slatted rack on the bottom under the box as well, which will have a 3/4 entrance underneath it. And that's primarily, well, for two reasons. That's so that my 7/8 lumber will fit in my U-clips on my pallet, okay? And then also give me a wooden surface here to accept my hot OA vaporizer, so it doesn't contact the box.
Well, with the thickness of the polystyrene there,
yeah,
won't that still pose a problem unless you redesign because of the dimensions, the outside dimensions of the box are larger?
For the pallet?
Yes.
Yes, it will, but I've got that covered because the wooden box is 16 5/8, which is 7/8. Is it 7/8? Did I say? So this is 17 3/4. So it's 1.25 inches, almost inch and 1/8 wider overall than the wooden box. So I need to take that into account because this wooden slatted rack is going to protrude over the side of the pallet.
Right.
So I'm just going to have to build in some kind of I might use a 2x4 for this side to make it wider so it sits on the pallet. I mean, it'll be a little bit of a jury rig, but I just don't want to rebuild all my pallets because I've got a lot of two-way pallets to use. So, and
Right.
that'll work just fine. That'll work just fine.
Speaking of two-way pallets, it's that time of the year where you usually have order upon order upon order for two-way pallets for the winter.
Yeah, I haven't got. Well, I think I've got one fellow wants a few, but not very many. Maybe 6 or 8. I'm not sure how many he wants. So not a lot of big orders yet. So if anybody wants any, get your orders in. Once I've got my workload filled up, then I don't take any more orders for the season. I only build in the winter, as I'm sure you know.
I'm today I was trying to do a little bit of sourcing of powder for creamed honey flavors. It's like everything. Even and when I say everything, even this doggone StreamYard, they have redesigned everything. And literally, if you want to do anything, even if it's something that we used to do in the past, right? So, like Brad and I both wanted to stream this to our channels. Used to be, I could set it up to make that happen pretty easily. Now, any single thing that you want to do or upgrade or anything that you want to change, they want to charge you $36 a month to do it. Minimum $36 a month, which I know in the grand scheme of things, $36 really isn't that much. But
but
then you do it over
making money off it.
12 months. Yeah, we're not making any money off of YouTube, so
$400 a year definitely is something.
Yeah, so it does, and that's just the first level, right? The other one is like $65 US a month. So
that's why I dropped them. I went to Restream. I don't have a subscription now, but I found the Restream subscription model far more palatable than StreamYard. And they actually offer you, when you sign up, there's a little checkbox. It says, we have a discount for previous StreamYard users. So you click that and you get an extra discount for Restream.
It's but everything's just going crazy. I mean, I went in there and I was like, you know what, I might do a little video because people have really been asking me a lot lately about cream. Matter of fact, I kind of got chastised for not bringing my honey to the Virginia show.
Oh yeah.
It's just so much to lug. It was just like, you know what, I'm just not going to take it this time. And I probably could have sold some. I did try spotted lanternfly honey at the show. So that was interesting.
Right.
And but with the creamed honey, it's a thing, right? But finding time, that's why my creamer stays running, is because it doesn't take me very long to flavor a batch and bottle it up. So, but now I've got to find. I don't have to find them. I know where I can find the flavoring, but it seems like they're all $4.50, $6.50 an ounce.
Wow!
I might as well be making marijuana honey. I could probably. It's probably almost as much an ounce. I mean, it's crazy, but Jared, I didn't see you, man, at the show. And you said you were going to the Virginia show, and I didn't see you there. I was looking forward to it. But there are some neat products that I saw at the show. Couple different ones. One's getting ready to go through a Kickstarter. It's a lot like the Broodminder. A little bit different, but very similar idea. and one was called the bee sauna. I know it's a unique name, but in Europe they've got those big yellow boxes that allow you to pull your brood, put it in the box, you warm it up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit for like 3 hours. It's warm enough to keep the brood viable, but it's high enough to kill the mites in the comb, right? So essentially, it's just a bee box, but it's got a lot of different electronics in it and temperature sensors and stuff like that to regulate the temperature in there. And you just put it over your brood and it warms the whole colony up for 3 hours, and then you pull it off. If you've got 1 or 2 colonies or a bunch of money in your pocket, the thing is that
if I was running 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 colonies, I'd be into that stuff. I really would. But it just comes down to how many can I run by myself.
Right.
Too much work.
That's it. If you got 4 or 5 hives, even 10, if you're doing a couple today, a couple tomorrow, that kind of thing, and you have time to go through that would absolutely be something good. I know the one in Europe was kind of like a job box, right? Like a big steel box. Yeah. So you could essentially do several hives at one time because you could pull all of the frames of brood from those hives and put them in there for that period of time and then just put the brood back. So but that's still that was
take that brood and maybe enough bees to keep it warm, put it in a hive or something somewhere, and wait 12 days till it's all emerged. Just hit it with oxalic acid vapor in a big way, and then go and merge your bees back if you want to. So you've taken all the brood out of a hive, so that means you've taken all of the varroa out of the capped cells. Now you can hit the hive with oxalic acid vapor and
kill all the brood.
And the brood that you've taken out, wait for that to emerge, and then hit that with oxalic acid vapor.
But
I don't know. Thinking out loud.
I'll tell you what I do like. One thing that I really, really like about beekeepers, and we're thinkers. For the most part, I'm not saying all of us because I've met a few, but but most
we all have, Bob. We all have.
Most beekeepers are kind of innovators, right? Like yourself there. You had a problem, you sat there and you figured out what you wanted to do, and then you made it happen.
I thought about this all summer. I thought about this all summer, and I made adjustments to what I'm going to end up with up until a couple of days ago, right? So nothing is written in stone until it's glued together, and then it is what it is.
Yeah, that's I sit here and I've been thinking, well, do I need I go through my apiary every time that I come in or out of my yard in my truck. So I'm constantly saying, well, I need to fix this, I need to do that. And just like today, I was planning to go out there and start, because it's cooler, pick up some of that stuff, start assessing what needs to happen with those boxes. And I wake up this morning and it's pouring rain. So it's
crazy here too. Just nice the last couple of days, a little bit breezy, beautifully warm, but south breeze is why it was warm. And today, it's not that cold, but raining like crazy.
And that now it's getting busy for me because I'll be in Florida next month, which is only a few days away, right? So Florida next month, speaking at the beekeeping conference in like 2 weeks. Or I keep saying conference. It's the Beekeeping Association meeting. It's not a conference, but you know what I mean.
I don't know the difference.
They get, yeah, one has vendors and one doesn't, right?
I see.
But otherwise, it's pretty close. Pretty close. So going to be speaking there, and then guess what? Back down to Florida because they have meetings about 3 weeks apart from each other.
Okay.
One's the honey producers meeting, and one is the state beekeepers association meeting. So,
you keep them busy. That's good.
Yeah, trying to keep busy. I'm just trying to, do my day job and keep that going. Even though it's winter time, it is challenging.
Winter? It's not even winter here.
Well, for beekeeping, it's considered winter, right?
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's after honey flow. It's like after honey flow, or honey pulling. Most people are interested in feeding their bees up, getting them ready for the winter, and then forgetting about them till spring. That's kind of the thing. And if you're
what's so nice about our winter is it's kind of a panic in the fall. Make sure you get all your ducks in a row and do everything right and prepare everything just right. And then once the weather hits, it's okay. That's all you can do.
Beekeepers are overthinkers, Brian said.
Yeah, well, this one is. I know I overthink just about everything.
Yeah, it's we
but beekeeping, boy, there's a lot of variables. That's why I kind of laughed when I said the other day, I said that Occam was not a beekeeper because the simplest solution is almost always wrong. Right? It definitely doesn't follow Occam's razor. So I think we have to be overthinkers because you think, well, I'm going to do this, and then you think, well, okay, I got like 20 variables to take care of.
Well, and I think there's definitely a drive for knowledge in beekeepers.
You have to. That's not optional.
Yeah, but it's sometimes it gets to the point to where it's a little too much. That's my opinion, right? I mean, honestly,
air compressor. Go.
Oh, no worries. I can't hear it. It's muted out for me.
Yeah, so, just so you know, I can't hear you.
But they, with sometimes we accept and deal with things, right? There's not always a good answer. We can sit here and talk about Varroa mites, for instance, every single day. It has been talked about every single day by beekeepers for the last 40 years.
I mean, I just did, right? Take the brew out, fog it with oxalic,
since the 80s, right? And it amazes me that when we talk about it, there's I'm glad people are still trying to innovate and stuff, but after 40 years, it's a tough road that we got to figure out a different solution for, right? Or something to do. Otherwise,
I am glad, on the other hand, I am glad that usually when you talk about it, there is interest, and that to me is good because
that is a good thing.
Speaks to that people are taking it seriously and they know that Varroa control really is job one in beekeeping. It's a shame that it's job one, but it is.
Right. So, in the past, from what I understand now, I've only been beekeeping 6 years, right? So I'm definitely not an expert, but in the past, from what I hear from some old timers, is that you could literally put bees in a box and harvest a bunch of honey and then, get them ready for winter. And next spring, you'd bring them out and they'd be ready to go again. Right.
It was easier even when my dad was keeping bees back in the 60s, is you gas them. You go to Chico in the spring with a truck, get a whole bunch of packages, come home, dump them in a box, go harvest the honey in August, and then when you're done harvesting the honey, you get out the cyanide gas and kill the bees.
Really? They would
That's
kill all the
exactly because packages were so cheap that they just get in the truck in the spring and drive to Chico and load the truck.
and get some
Exactly
new
what
ones.
they did. Yep. So if my dad were alive, uh, he would just shake his head with what I do. He would have no idea what I'm doing by experience, right? He wouldn't relate to what I do at all. Wintering bees, varroa control,
Right.
like thousands of dollars worth of sugar, right? He never fed bees.
Occam was a barber.
Occam was a barber.
Bob was a barber. But I'm not Lenny Occam. But yeah, I mean it's definitely different. And I think it has been the self-sustainability is what that we've been working toward. Sustainable beekeeping, I guess, would be the more appropriate talk about it. But like you said, your dad didn't have any interest in sustaining his colonies. He just
that was just
bees.
what he did, right? He learned from the people who were keeping bees too, and so he didn't make that up. He didn't make up that model. He didn't decide. He didn't sit there and go, "This is what I'm going to do."
Right.
It's just what people did. He learned beekeeping from his, the generation before him.
Oh my gosh. You just that's a perfect segue for what we had talked about last week about we do things because we do them, right?
Right.
We do them because who showed us that's how they did them, and we learned it that way, so that's how we do them. And then when we have a mentor, we train him the same way we do it, which is the way that he did it. And then this is my issue with that in beekeeping is that, as we all know, beekeepers are very opinionated. Very.
Then you get in a fight about how your way is the only way, but you don't really understand why it's the only way, right?
Right. So that's kind of So I mean, that is that's been very interesting. I watched a few videos last evening. One again was about the guy in North Carolina who's a veteran that
I know what you're talking about.
Makes a $500,000 off of 60 bee colonies.
Yeah.
You know the video I'm talking about.
I know the story. Yeah.
And
the math really doesn't add up in that story.
Well, we all know that he's got to be buying honey. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Never did he say he didn't buy honey in the video, so he's not misrepresenting.
Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that model.
Right? Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that model.
Well, I mean, we could look at several people, right? Bob Binney sells more honey than he makes, but he tells people, "Yeah, I got buddies that I buy honey from."
Like near as I can tell, his beekeeping, he loves beekeeping. You do it regardless, but it's also his most reliable source of sourwood honey. Are his own bees, because he could have a hand in controlling that.
Right.
So that's near as I can tell, and he absolutely loves keeping bees. So,
it's definitely a. I mean that particular video was not so much on beekeeping, but it was about entrepreneurship and how he went from nothing up until making a good living and having employees and that thing. So yeah, great on him.
I'm all for that.
I would do it myself. I mean, that's the thing. Even, I don't know if you noticed, I think it was a post on Facebook I think it was on Facebook. I've so many platforms that I look at now, or it may have even been YouTube, where Bob's co-packing for people now. So I don't know if that's always been a thing or just something they're starting to try to get more into. So they're advertising it a little bit.
I see.
They're co-packing. So that could mean a couple things, right? That could mean You bring him your honey and he packs it in jars and bottles it. And now now you have the ability to get into grocery stores, or it could be, hey, I bottle this honey under your label type of thing. I'm sure that's all negotiable. And I mean, I don't know Bob's business. I haven't even talked to him about it. So don't go saying Bob Walker said do this, because I don't know. I'm just speculating things that could happen.
Yeah. Sure.
But, there's tons of different ways that you can utilize beekeeping to potentially make some money. I haven't figured it out. I know the ways. I just have not experienced the way, I guess.
I know how to make money beekeeping. I just haven't experienced that. It's all theory.
Experienced it, exactly.
I know how to enjoy myself beekeeping.
That's it. I do enjoy it. And honestly, I had that discussion at the show this weekend with somebody. I said, if you could do, I'll ask the question to you, Brad, since obviously people are watching. If you could make 20% less honey on 50% less colonies, would you trade that? So let's say you had to have 100 colonies to make your 10,000 pounds, right?
Yeah.
If you could do that, if you could make 8,000 pounds on 50 colonies.
Well, always trying to maximize yield without compromising quality, right?
Right.
And my nectar sources are, a little bit less common in my province. And they're less common because nobody's foolish enough to sit on those nectar sources, because the yields aren't very high. I'm the only idiot that's sitting on those nectar sources. But I love the quality of the honey, and so do my customers. So I'm kind of locked in.
Well, the other thing is that distinguishes you from the other honeys. Well, it allows you to put a premium price on your honey.
Yeah, but it doesn't make up for it, right? That does give me the freedom to demand a little bit more money for my product, but it doesn't make up for it, because the percentage that I get over their honey is not anywhere near the hit I take on the nectar, the honey production.
Right. Well,
it helps, but it's long ways from making up for it.
Well, I mean, being on canola or something like that, that's, I guess, overly abundant in Canada for bees, you would get a ton more honey, but your honey would be the same as everybody else's at that point.
Yeah, it's just every day. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just everyday honey. And that's how I capture those loyal customers, right? You can't capture a loyal customer on price. There's zero loyalty in price. If you capture a customer on price, the guy down the road is going to give him a lower price. Your customer's gone. It's just the way it works. And nobody wins. Customer gets a crappy product. The guy that beat you is making zero money or losing, and you're not making any money. So nobody wins. Well, that's the race to the bottom is what they call it.
And, for me here, and I assume it's similar in other places, I don't have anybody making 10,000 pounds of honey around me, right? It's non-existent. So for me, I don't understand why somebody that makes, I don't know, let's say they made 2 buckets, 100 pounds or 120 pounds of honey. Why they immediately put that honey up on Facebook for like $7 a pound? It's like, if that's the case, if you really just don't want the honey and you're just trying to get rid of it, just contact me and I'll buy it from you, and I'll turn it into creamed honey, or I'll, bottle it up as if they're messaging me, they're probably local. It would still be local honey, but it's It's one of those things, right? It's like I just don't understand that mindset.
I see that every fall. Every fall I see that. All of the $2 honey comes out of the woodwork. But then if you want to buy it from them, then it's $3 honey.
Right. If I want, I mean, my thing is if I want to, and I'm guilty. There's people that sell their honey a lot more than me too, right? So I'm kind of in the middle. Sam sells his honey for more than me, and that's fine. He also doesn't have. He kind of is putting into practice what I'm trying to say. Right? Is he doesn't make that much honey. He gets a premium price for his honey because he knows that's all the honey he's going to get, and once it's gone, it's gone. Right?
Yep.
So, so he puts a premium price tag on it. But just to see people out there, it's like, oh, this guy's selling it for 10, so I'm going to sell it for 9. That's stupid. If you sell it for 10 and I sell it for 10, they're going to come get it from you because you're closer. Right? At least that's how I look at it.
I had a beekeeper friend when I started this. He's I think he's an accountant. He's a numbers guy for sure. And he said to me early on, he said, if you sell all of your honey before harvest, your price is too low. And I think that's true. And you can take that to the nth degree. If you produce 50 pounds of honey and you price it at $20 a pound or something ridiculous, you price it at $50 a pound. And it takes you 10 months to sell it. Why not?
Right.
You just got $50 a pound for your entire crop. Right? You don't need to compete with anybody but yourself. So, you should be trying to, I think it doesn't come down to gouging. It comes down to respecting your product, honoring your product, honoring what the bees have done. You blow it out at bargain prices. It's kind of like, well, okay.
Well, you blow
yours out. It didn't mean that much to you after all.
Then they have to go to the store and pay what they're paying me.
Yeah, then they go to the store and they buy honey for their coffee.
Yeah, for the same So
or the customer, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it is just as interesting on that stuff. So Ian said he started
bringing them in, eh? Is it raining over there, Ian? It's raining like crazy here. Everything is soaking wet again.
Corey says really depends on what you feel will be sustainable and how busy you want to be. Yeah, I mean, it definitely for that. I mean, everybody's got a different business model, right? Some people just want to raise honeybees. They don't really care about the honey that much, right? So they'll
well, for sure. But if you want to raise honeybees, then that allows you to buy equipment, buy bees, buy sugar syrup, or whatever.
Yeah,
I have people tell me, "Oh, I don't want to make any money," but I think what I don't. I too wouldn't take. You give somebody $100, who's going to say, "Oh no, I don't want to make any money"? Like, come on, be real.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like making money with bees, right now my bee operation this year was actually profitable because I didn't have to put anything back out in expense other than like some bottles, right? So this year has been a good year for that. Overall, am I profitable? No, I'm about break even on my equipment. But I guess here would be, I mean, from beekeeper to beekeeper type situation, if you're not interested in making money with honey, just don't bottom the market out for everybody that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even somebody, and Ian can close his ears for a second here, but I mean, even somebody who's selling most of the crop wholesale to the big packers and stuff like that, if they're selling out of their driveway to their neighbors for cheap, that impacts the market, right? Customers come here and I tell them what I want for my honey, and they say, "Oh, I can get that such and such," right? And quite often it's a larger producer who's selling pails or jars of honey out of the driveway for super cheap. So it does impact. the market. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to impact their bottom line as much to sell 500 pounds of honey out of the driveway a year when they're wholesaling, 500,000 or something.
Right.
So it's really not meaningful to them, but it also wouldn't be, that bad for them to kind of take it easy on the rest of us.
Right.
Right. And that's, again, there's not a lot of big producers who are that I compete with, because nectar source wise, I set my honey
Different.
aside apart from that. But if I was producing canola honey, which is what the big producers here sell, then I would be competing directly with that. Like, I literally 99% of the time, if I can get somebody in a jar of my honey, then I'm in their wallet, just like
Right.
that. And it sounds cocky, but that's just what I've seen over the last 10 years. People want that product. I'm not selling anybody a bill of goods. I'm not selling anybody on something that they're not getting or deceiving anybody. I'm offering a product that a lot of people want. And they've shown me that over the last 10 years because it's working. I didn't build this model. I just
Right.
put a box of bees in the backyard, pulled off some sweet sticky liquid and said, and people went completely bonkers over it. So I thought, okay, this is something special. And again, like I said before, and I want to honor that, right? And I also have to make up for the fact that my yields are so small, right? I
Right.
don't make much money at all.
Yeah, that's the I guess the conundrum, right? Which, Brian just said his markets ended yesterday. If he doesn't sell another jar, he can still pay his November and December salary, and that's awesome, right? But you made your money. You are better than 95% of us. You made the money early, and now you have the wherewithal to be able to make that money last for those months.
He works hard too. He works hard.
That, there's gadgets out there that have to be purchased. But
in my case, built.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's my own rationing to myself is that I don't rush out there. And there's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with your model. I'm not going to sit at a show myself on the weekend. That's just me, right? I know that about me.
Yeah.
So the thing is that that does two things for me. Trust me, if I need money, you'll see my butt sitting out there, right? If I don't need
when
money,
Bob's broke, he's in the front yard.
I'm in the front yard. That's it. Not always that the reason, but I try to make my honey money do a couple things for me, right? I try to the honey money usually is enough to pay for at least my wife's car, right? The car payment for the month.
Yeah.
And I try to get there. If I don't get there, it's not a big deal. But that also allows me to ration my honey over the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, because again, I'm not making huge crops, right? I can which is why I'm taking that 1,000 pounds of honey, and then I'm able to try to do some creaming to make that the amount of money that you get for that honey, which more, right? More than it would be if I just sold it as runny honey. Anyway, I didn't mean to hijack the whole thing about beaconomics, but it's my passion.
That's
y'all
okay.
know.
Conversation, right?
Y'all know. That's
no. You know what? I find business strategies fascinating. Something that I've learned to really appreciate over the last 10 years or so. Well, more than that, 10 or 15 to 20 years. Time goes so fast when you're an old guy like me.
Well, I think a good business strategy, not a model, but a strategy is, I mean, I think it always kind of morphs, right? It should. So you should have a good plan to begin with, but be flexible enough to where if there's something you find out along the way that's better, change it, right? Don't just stick to the plan, because not all the ways did you make a good plan to begin with, and it can help you refine it as you go, right?
That's right. I had some, I was going to say unofficial. There's a different word though. Business mentors years and years ago, and one of the principles that the one guy impressed upon me, and it goes to every part of life, and that is, don't fall in love with your own ideas.
Right.
Right. As soon as you're falling in love with your own ideas, uh, then that's where danger lurks.
Well,
And that's why it's really good if you have uh, business partners or even just business mentors like that situation. Having people who often disagree with you is a really good thing. It's frustrating sometimes, but if you have somebody who always agrees with you, then
you don't need them.
it's
Might as well just use your own example. Well, and
right.
even we'll even bring that to this this feeder, or I call it feeder shim, but the box you're making right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You made
We had
the
some
idea,
conversations on that.
and then we talked a couple times about that. And I'm not talking about, I mean, usually it could have been an hour that we discussed it, each time about different things and different ideas. And you ended up going with pretty much what you started with showing me. But we did bounce several ideas off, and then you figured out, well, you know what, that didn't achieve what I needed to achieve, and you went.
But I have committed to those ideas, so I explored those ideas. I put those ideas to the test, and then you put things to the test, and then at some point the idea is going to break, and you go, okay, that's not the idea to run with, right?
Right.
You just can't fall in love with your own idea. Those pallets, I'll cite those pallets. Built for myself. I built quite a few for Ian and Corey. He's on here. I built for him too. I've been building those for about probably 8 years, and I've changed them at least 3 times.
Right.
Right. Because, the first year it's based on things that I see and what I think it's going to be like. And then after that year, I evaluate some of the things that it's actually like that I didn't think of. And then the third iteration was actually an idea, because I was building for Ian. It was an idea to make Ian's life a little bit easier in the way he uses it.
Right.
Not necessarily the way it wasn't an issue I was running into necessarily, but it was something that would kind of fix one of his little pains. So then that was iteration number 3. So yeah, so it's kind of like, you can sit and admire your work, but you start to fall in love with it, then you won't question whether or not that's the best way. And I'm pretty sure that what I'm doing here is not the best way either. But I have thought about it for months, so I'm content that it's pretty close.
It's with the and for me that is frustrating to me. As far as some people's inflexibility on ideas, it's not a it's the, oh well, my way's right, yours is wrong, right?
Yeah.
That's what frustrates me on some things.
I mean, there's times when I get thinking like that too, and it's mostly because I'm very fussy with my woodenware, because again, I'll get an example here. I just got to grab it off camera. It gets all dusty because it sits here in the shop, but when I started this woodworking thing. I wasn't a beekeeper. I started teaching myself how to build fine furniture, right? So this is one small example of that endeavor.
Right.
So because I got into that way of thinking, it's hard to not work to the 32nd of an inch, right? It's hard to say good enough, right? That's kind of the motto of my shop. Good enough is never good enough, right?
Well, with being able to be flexible, I'm not saying,
But that's me. That's me. I understand. Somebody who's not a woodworker has basic tools and wants to build some woodenware, all for it. I mean, if they're going to ask me, hey, should I do, show me, should I do this and this? I could say, well, I'd use a different joint there because it'd be stronger, more stable, easier, for whatever reasons, and because they're asking for my opinion. But I have to just, don't be critical on people because they have come into this from a completely different place than I've come into it from. And they're not frustrated by the fact that everything should look like fine furniture.
right. Well, I mean, it does come down to we've done it before. Well, I do it this way, right? And then someone will say, well, that's not right. I do it this way, right? And
Yeah.
maybe they are correct on something, but there is the opportunity for both things to be true, right? Hey, you do it that way and it works, and I do it this way and it works, right?
Yeah.
So
that to me, that comes down partly to something that I often talk about, and it comes up when newer beekeepers are asking me advice. And this, how do I do this, or what do I need to do that, or when do I wrap my bees, and when do I unwrap my bees, and stuff like that. And I always want to explain this to them because I know there's a perception of paint by numbers sometimes, and rightfully so, because there's so much to know and do in beekeeping. They're just looking for direction.
right,
And but but the fact is, a lot of what we do, a lot of the equipment we use, and a lot of the management techniques we use have nothing to do with the bees.
right,
The bees will make a hive and be quite happy in an old tire. So why do we have frames? Well, it's for us. It's not for the bees.
right.
So did I have a viable top insulation and method and equipment that I used last year? If you watch my videos, you've seen it. Did I have a solution already? Yeah, I had a solution that worked great. I didn't like some of the management of it, so I decided to change.
Right.
It's nothing to do with the bees. It has, short of, it has to be appropriate for the bees, but the bees won't care whether it's a quilt box full of wood chips or it's this box full of polystyrene. The bees won't care. So, so that's where, oh well, somebody, maybe you're wrong. This is the way to do it. The way I do. Well, you manage differently than I do, right? Um, Ian's been my mentor a long, long time, and particularly at the beginning of my journey, he helped me out so much, so much. I was always asking him things and picking his brain, and he'd tell me something, and then I'd have to sit there for the longest time and try to translate what he said that I need to do, translate the important parts of that into a way for me to do it. Because I don't have an easy loader, I don't have a truck for my bees, I don't have a crew, I don't have, a rather nice honey house like he has. So I have to translate into my operation and my abilities. I'm not nearly as young as he is too. so so there's all those kind of things. A lot of, I would say, most of the decisions we make have nothing to do with the bees. It's all what we want to do,
Right.
what we have to do. I'm one guy. I can only do, you know he was. I remember early on. I remember one day I kind of surprised him because he hadn't done the math. Um, I asked him about how, like, explain to me how you're doing your splits and making your nukes and stuff like that, and I think in a way he was encouraging me to kind of pick up that model, and I said, what I've been doing just so far, I make per capita, like per size of my operation. I said to him, I make way more nukes than you do, way more. You make, say, I don't know, you make 10%, say, or 25%. You make 25% of your hive numbers you make in nukes. I said, I make 60%. And
Right.
he just said, yeah, you know what? You're right. I thought about that. And I'm one guy, right? So there's all those considerations.
Right.
What's a guy's climate like? What's the weather like? What does he have? I have a guy 20 miles down the road started beekeeping same time I did. I'm blessed to have, my truck and my tractor, my buildings, my land. He didn't have any of that. And I don't know how he did it because he's still in business, but lack
There,
of buildings.
I saw a guy today. Is actually a female posted up. I'm sure they're in your bee association because they have to be. But they're selling their whole thing, 15-acre farm, bee operation, extraction equipment, the whole room. I mean, and they have a big line as well. So, of course, they did not put a price on it. They said message if you're interested. They said they could sell it. The house, it's like a 5-bedroom house and everything all together. Turnkey honey business in Manitoba, Canada.
Oh yeah, there you go, Bob. What are you waiting on?
My green card. The borders are closed. No, I'm just kidding.
Borders are closed to you.
They'll say, "Who are you?" Oh yeah, we saw you on YouTube.
You gonna work for a living? Yeah. No, you can't come in.
But it's it's somewhere around there. I'm sure you know who it is, but I don't want to dox them on the show because I don't know what
I'll get with you later. I think I've seen the ad you're talking about. What does that mean, docs? I've heard people recently saying
basically giving out people's documentation, right? Their address and phone numbers and names and stuff like that with
with malicious intent.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I don't have malicious intent, but I don't have their permission either, right? So
malicious intent
But then we got this fella that's named Alex that's in a different portion of Canada that's been talking about finding land out in Canada, and he's a beekeeper. Who knows? Never know.
Oh, might be a turnkey for the young man.
Do you ever wonder why beekeepers always sell at the end of the honey season or at the end of the pollination season? It's because they got that bees. They got all their money out of the honey and the bees, right? And now it's like,
you get them through winter. You're not going to sell them in June, right, or July. If you got them through winter, why not just run a crop and then make another little pool of money?
But think about it. In Canada, you guys have pretty, I consider to be expensive nukes. If somebody was going to sell their business and they wanted to sell it in the spring and somebody was looking to expand,
sell it in May.
They'd buy the whole doggone thing, right?
Yeah, sell it in May because there's not a lot of indigenous, I don't know if that's a good term for that, bees to sell here in May.
First Nation bees in the spring?
Yeah, it's not what I meant, but organic. Yeah, I don't know what the right word is. Maybe non-imported, domestic. That's
domestic. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Look for our PC terminologies.
Yeah.
So how many of those are you making?
32.
Well, you're well on your way. And then you're going to take them over to the dipper, get them dipped, and.
Yep. Oh, Ian, maybe I'll go visit him that day. I go over, see if I have time.
He'll put you in a
He's got time.
combine,
Yeah, that'd be okay.
riding around.
Wouldn't mind driving one of those big things. Probably put it in the river though.
Are they? They're pretty much. Don't they put like a Jeep? I've never been in one. I've never driven one, so don't think. Well, I am ignorant to that information, but don't they just like set GPS coordinates and it kind of runs itself, and you just kind of are monitoring stuff?
But the point is, the worst part is they don't have auto stop, so you'll drive it right into the river if you don't watch it.
Right.
It'll just keep going.
Let's see.
So I think
you got 21 people at 1 o'clock Eastern time.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. It's fun.
Just two guys.
Woodshop live since last winter.
I know it's been a minute. I should be doing some work is what I need to be doing.
Work.
But, I worked Sunday, Saturday.
You did. And Saturday.
Friday, stayed in the crappiest hotel I've ever stayed at. But that's my own fault. That's not the company's fault. I booked my own room. The internet was very deceptive on what their rooms look like. But,
the internet let you down.
Amazingly, the hotel chain sent me a review like, hey, can you rate our stay, right, with the company? And I let them have it.
Are you sure?
You sure you want this from me? Well, I mean, the people were very nice, but
sure. That kind of reminds me of something that I say quite a bit. It's never ask a question you don't want the answer to.
Right. I mean, I said, hey, I happen to take photos of what I'm talking about. And they were interested to see said photos, right? So I sent them to the corporate through that. But I mean, it's one of those things that I did not change the room. I stayed in that same room because I was only going to be there for a couple of nights, and I'm not going to raise a big stink about it. It was a place to sleep. Maybe that's a military thing that I'm just like, I'm not worried about it that much. There's no bugs. I'm good to go. And but back to this whole quality of what we try to do and present as far as, and that goes a long way, right? That goes to your woodenware. That goes to your pride in your product that you're putting out. Same thing with me, creamed honey, doing stuff like that. It's important that it is a good reputation, right? But when you go to a place, and I can actually, I won't dox them, but I'm going to, my first issue is everybody in here that's been following the chat knows that I quit smoking 3 years ago. However, this room smelled like my grandpa's house where he smoked 5 packs a day for 30 years in the house, right?
I was thinking about you in that regard too. When you said it smelled like smoke, I thought, uh-oh.
Well,
that'd be like me staying in a hotel room that smells like French fries or something.
Well, I woke up I didn't smoke, but I woke up the next day and my eyes were itchy and swollen. And, it was just not good for me. But I mean, it wasn't enough for me to actually say, you know what, I'm out. Let me just
get an N95 from the pharmacy and
well, to give you, I want to share some photos here, which this will kind of give you the idea of what I considered the lack of pride in the establishment there. It's kind of like when you try to fix something, but you only kind of half-ass fix it, and you don't spend the extra $5 to do a good job. You know what I mean? So this is the room, at least part of it, one picture. If you notice how dark these walls are, that's nicotine staining.
I was going to say, is that from the cigarette smoke?
But then they attempted to do some patch painting and you can definitely see where the paint is different colors where they were touching up, right?
Right. They paint the whole wall.
They didn't paint the whole wall. And then they didn't really trim out around. It's like around the edges. So it was just not a good look for a national branded hotel.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I stay at places like that because you assume you're going to get at least a certain standard, right?
It's like eating McDonald's. You're
Right.
going to get the same Big Mac everywhere.
But you can see where they painted the bottom, but they didn't do the whole wall. It literally takes 10 minutes to roll that wall out.
Yeah.
So there's probably duplicates in here. That's a duplicate.
In 2010, we were down south. We stopped for the night. We got a room at Super 8. That was about all that was available. And we said, we want to go for some supper. I said, okay, go down the hill. There's a cafe down there. Okay, good. So we went down to this cafe that the hotel recommended. And kid you not, our feet stuck to the floor. Everything in the place, cutlery, chairs, tables, everything was so caked with that nicotine stickiness. It was just disgusting.
I didn't take a photo of this thing, but this was a picture on the wall. But a little bit to the right of this, there was a mirror. And you can see where they started painting here, but they just painted in between. They didn't take the stuff off the wall. So you can see where it's like darker around here. It's just, I literally told him I felt like I was staying in a crack house.
Well, that'll get some attention.
Well, and honestly, I can deal with a lot as far as where I stay. It doesn't really matter to me, but
they asked.
They did ask, and we paid for that. It's not like I was, went to somebody's house and they said, "Hey, I got a room you can stay in," and then you suck it up, right? It's just, but it is what it is, So anyway, but it goes back to that pride in what you're selling, right? If you book this, if they thought this is a place that, hey, this is up to our standards for somebody to stay in as a Ramada hotel.
That was a Ramada?
That was a Ramada. So I was like, yeah, no.
Wow. Ramada's a good name.
Yeah. So, and so I didn't thrash anybody there. Because everybody was nice. They asked about the breakfast, and I was just truthful with them. I didn't eat there. And the reason I didn't eat there is because after seeing what the room was like, I would have hated to know what their kitchen was like.
Imagine what the kitchen looks like.
Yep. Yeah. So I just didn't. I mean, and it's just small things. You sit down on the commode to pull the toilet paper off, and the little plastic thing that holds the toilet paper is all smashed and it's like broken. It's like you didn't spend $2 to replace the toilet paper roller thing. I mean, you're in the wrong business, whoever's running that. You know what I mean? So that was my
I would agree.
But there you go. Bob's rant for the day is over. Bob's daily rant.
Well, but again, reiterate, right? They asked. Yeah,
they did ask. I didn't go out the
you didn't go up on anybody there at the time.
No.
But they asked. So are you going to lie to them? Are you going to, yeah, fine.
and they sent a nice email back that said, we really appreciate this feedback. You can send pictures to this email address so we can address the situation. I doubt they'll say, here's a free night or something like that. At this point, not worried too much about that, but it's like,
they
need to know if it's a chain, what their standards are.
Well, as a business owner, I would want to know, right? I would want to know if somebody is unhappy with my business practices or my products. I want to know. I don't guarantee that I'm going to do anything about it, but I want to know.
Right. I mean, as far as like that room, though, if you had to send the guys in there to paint as much as they did, it took them more time to not do the whole thing where they could have just rolled the whole place and been out of there in an hour,
Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever. It's their business.
Yeah. But that's an example. That's an example of what we're talking about.
But if you're going to, anything worth doing, what they say is worth doing well. At least that's what I find with most beekeepers.
Well,
now our difference of what well is.
Sometimes it's, and that's where my personality traits really conflict. Is because I have one trait of perfectionism, and I have a very strong trait of urgency, and they don't agree. There's those two devils fighting all the time. Do it right. No, don't. Just do it. No. We gotta. No. Just do. That's why I'm standing here on the 27th of October building wintering covers.
I had a request, so to drop the link.
Well, you did.
Yeah, usually we
come visit with us.
Yeah, maybe Brian. We'll see.
Brian, well, that'd be nice.
From the flower.
I was going to ask if you're going to drop a link.
Well, normally, a lot of times we don't drop links on these chats.
Yeah, I don't.
But I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah,
we're flexible around here.
We are.
The let's see if he hits us up here.
Come on in, Brian.
Come on in.
Come and talk with us.
The water's fine.
The water's fine. Actually,
just two of us.
I'm going to get a beverage here. Together. I can hear you.
Need to get with Brian because we've talked before, but I'm terrible on taking notes about where sourcing of some of the ingredients for the creamed honey. I know I've just been getting mine off of Amazon, but if I can find a cheaper solution, I'll say less expensive solution. Cheaper is not always better, but sometimes expensive isn't always better either.
That's right. And in business, you need to watch the margins. If you're not keenly watching the margins in business, you're going to sink, because those margins will sink your boat so fast.
Oh yeah.
If you're not paying attention.
If you're running really close margin
too long before your margins disappear.
All right, Philip, thanks for watching, buddy. We'll see you later. But yeah, I mean, right now there's not much to do on my bees. Just make sure that they have feed over the the times that they can fly, and that they don't starve themselves out, and make sure they have more nutrition. Good nutrition.
I got to get my pails off, and I really want to get my pails washed up before the bees go in, because that's the same building. I have two urgencies for that. If the weather gets too cold, my overland water supply to my my overland water supply will freeze up, so I can't wash pails in there.
I don't see
it. Also, when the bees go in,
I don't see your camera on there, Brian.
No,
Brian,
no camera,
the quality
no
control manager.
Uh-oh. Am I in trouble?
No, it's having a issue connecting. Let me remove him from the stream until I see him pop up in the bottom, then I'll add him back. But he might be out in the yard doing something today. It's too chilly here right now. Well, it's 59 degrees, which is not bad. I can still work with the bees a little bit, but it's rainy, which 59 and rainy, I'm not doing it because it's only going to get colder tonight, and
Yeah, don't do it.
then we got problems, which leads me back to um the polystyrene. The polystyrene colonies last year were without a doubt my strongest colonies coming into spring.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we've talked about that before, but compared to the wood ones, they definitely did better. I think even if they were in your environment where it was cold outside, they would not have to expend as much energy to vibrate and keep themselves warm in the cluster if they can, as you say, decouple the outside from the inside.
And honestly, the way my concept of that works, like how the bees, like what stresses out the bees, and what do they have to put up with over winter. My concept of that isn't as much how hard do they have to work to stay warm, because that is directly tied to their feed consumption. So there's, if they run out of feed, they're going to starve. But they can do it. Enough
Right.
feed and they'll stay warm. But the way I think about it is that the fluctuating temperature, I think that really stresses them, especially when the temperature fluctuates around that. I'm going to say 4C, so 40F. It starts fluctuating back and forth over that.
Right.
Cluster,
don't cluster, cluster, don't cluster.
That sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Because if they're like, if it's marginally below that, then they're clustered, they're staying warm, and then it gets colder, and then they just, they're staying warm, it gets colder, and they're still staying warm. If it's above that, and they're not clustered and they're doing their thing, and it goes up and down above that, then that's one thing. If it's varying across that, say 0 to 10 degrees C margin, right, I think that's the stressful part. Really, that's just the way I think. So the polystyrene really, that's where it makes the difference. And I will not suggest to anybody that polystyrene is a panacea at all. It doesn't make your worries go away.
Right.
It gives you a little bit. It gives you a little bit of gives the bees a little bit of an advantage, I think.
Well, it's funny. I saw, I think it was last Tuesday, Brian Coper popped in on the Tuesday night chat in the box, and he was saying that he said his polystyrene boxes lasted 1 year. With Brian, I think he just, whatever I say, he goes 180 degrees out on his opinion of it. I feel like that sometimes, but whatever. Everybody can have their opinion. I have not had that with my polystyrene hives, right? Where
that's kind of what I'm saying is polystyrene boxes are not going to save your bees. The insulated boxes are not going to save your bees. It can make a difference, right? That's all I'm saying. It can make a difference.
It can help.
But
like you said, wax moth made holes through yours, the ones that you had, right? The nuke boxes or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty awful.
So yeah, definitely. I mean, things can be different in different areas. I definitely had them eat a like part of it on the bottom on my colony to
the polystyrene.
Yeah, well, with the Lyson colony, you get those little metal or plastic entrance reducers that you slide in the front of the box. Mine's, for some reason, they didn't like going through those, so they just kind of chewed themselves away underneath it to go in and out. And I'm fine with that. Hey, go for it. Hey, Brian.
That's why I don't buy. Hey, Brian, I don't buy into any of the gadgets. They give me the box. I don't even want a lid and a bottom board, right? I'll take care of that. Just give me the box. So, what's going on, Brian?
He froze.
Uh-oh. Internet problems.
It looks like he's got his laptop and he's walking with it.
Oh yeah.
And Blaine needs to come on and tell us about his beekeeping app that he's got on. It's in the Google store. I know that.
Yeah.
But I tried to watch a video on it, and it was a wordless video. I couldn't even. Well, I could read the screen a little bit, but it was no voice on it. I know a guy that could voice over that for you for the appropriate amount of money.
By appropriate amount of money, you mean a free app?
A free app, lifetime app usage.
Yeah.
But it's it's pretty cool. From what I've
Well, that's good. I'm always happy to see entrepreneurship. You know, whether I can use the product or not, I try to support it. If I can maybe use it, I'll support it. But I love to see entrepreneurship.
It's funny though, and this is a full circle conversation today. So when I was at the show and I was seeing these innovations, some of the things that I tried to talk to the people about, whether it was a small idea, hey, if you did this, me being a beekeeper, I'm trying to think of things that would make my life easier, right? When I'm out there. Well, if it did this, that would be cool. That would be easy, right? You've got all these sensors and computers in there, and they operate with the, basically like a game cam where you've got the a SIM card that kind of, well, if you got a SIM card, you should be able to locate that colony specifically on the map, right?
Yep.
If you're doing all this other technology, you should be able to tell me exactly to the point where that hive is.
Yeah, my game cams do that.
Well, yeah. So this technology that I was looking at is a lot, like I was saying, a lot like Broodminder, but it's different. It's the way it's constructed is different. It's different. I'm like, why can't, if you've got all this technology, why can't you just say, hey, when you're setting it up, this hive is at this location, right? You can tag it, but if I went to the website to look at it, I should be able to see exactly where my hive is. How awesome would something like that be for those guys out there in California when their hives get stolen? All of a sudden,
it's going down the highway somewhere.
Yeah, you can check where it'd be at, right?
Yep, that's a problem.
Yeah, iPhone is they're pretty tough to get into the Apple store. I know that much. Come on, Blaine, click the link. Come on in and tell us about your app. Otherwise, I'm going to find the short and I'm going to play the short. And it is pretty cool. So I do know it allows you to have a barcode for each one of your colonies.
That's nice.
A QR code. So you can scan the QR code and bring up the notes.
All right, let's see if it works this time.
Gotcha, man.
Cool. I've been having computer problems. Sorry about that. I wanted to come on and share something with you guys. I was enjoying the quality of the product. See, there it goes again.
It is.
Yeah, you camera's a little bit.
I don't know what's happening. Can you hear me, Bob?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just your video.
You guys came in and out. My computer's messed up. Okay.
Does it
so
work?
If I go out, that's just my computer. I just wanted to, I was admiring the
stop your video?
quality of product. I don't know.
No, it's working great now. Well, it was.
I'm shooting blanks.
It caught up with us, and then he said, "I don't know." Click.
Well, I stopped talking there, but I did want to say, that idea of being proud of the quality of your honey and pricing your honey in a way that is
Yeah.
is proportional to how special you think that product is, I think is really important. I'm kind of a purist like that. I try to make my products as best as possible. And I wanted to share something with you that I got this weekend, actually yesterday at the market. I have a farmer buddy who bought a freeze dryer and he's been playing with freeze drying different
Oh
stuff
yeah.
that he grows.
Scotch bonnets, yeah, peppers.
So I bet you know what I'm going to do with this, right? And of
That just
course,
going in some Scotch bonnet honey.
gonna do some hot honey. That's right. And then as a purist, I start getting thinking about, gosh, what if I bought a freeze dryer? Then instead of buying my powdered peach on Amazon, I can go across and buy peaches from the fruit people right over there and make my own dehydrated fruit product to put in there. But I might argue that that's probably the wrong decision for someone like me who doesn't have enough time in the day. I might suggest that talking to this guy and having him freeze dry the peaches for
Yeah.
me, because he's learning
Yeah.
how to do it himself. He's doing it right. It's the exact same purity of that product because he's still going to use the peaches from the guys across the street, right? And it saves me having to learn that skill and I can lean on him.
Well, you could co-brand a product, co-market a product, right? He cut out us on us. Maybe he'll come back in a second. But the yeah, stuff like that. It does also offer up marketing opportunities, right? They're trying to get their product. You're trying to sell your product, intermingle them together, and now you've got a product. And that would be something good for me with the berry farms, right? We've got the blueberry farm that's interested in having my honey out there. But wouldn't it be more attractive to them if my blueberry honey had their blueberries in it?
Yep.
Right? Or the strawberry farm up the road would be more attractive to them if my strawberry flavored honey has their strawberries in it. So that's a marketing opportunity, right? And it might get you some cheap strawberries and blueberries to do what you got to do. And I know everybody thinks Georgia's the peach state, but just to clarify to everybody that the peach capital of the world is actually South Carolina. We sell more peaches than Georgia does. Just
The fruit?
The fruit.
Okay.
Peaches, yeah. You got to sample the product, Bob. But we've for me, I've got to I'm looking right now to source some more powder. I agree with Brian as far as the freeze dryer. First of all, those things are ridiculously expensive.
Yep.
And
you got to keep it busy.
It's a whole thing. I have one person that I've seen. I think it was on YouTube. They have a freeze dryer, but they started freeze drying candy, and they said that the market for freeze dried candy is out of control to sell stuff. But I got enough going on. I mean, another piece of equipment, you know, for a freeze dryer or something like that. They're kind of tough. Maybe you can find a used one if it works. Let me see. Freeze.
Well, I think Brian. I really like Brian's business logic. You know, he can see where the advantages are, where the profits are, and whatnot. You know, because it comes down to, like he said, oh, I'm good. You know, should I buy a freeze dryer so I could do this, release some of the pressure on my dried fruit costs, and also then buy local fruit. And then the next thought is, well, do I have time? Right.
Right.
And it's kind of not only do I have time, but what can I maximize the profit on my time? Right.
Well,
Like me.
hey, not for nothing, Brian. If you bought those and you were doing it, now you have a market for selling your freeze-dried powders, and they sell on Amazon. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Health food stores, gyms for smoothie mixes, all that kind of thing. Brian, why'd you have to say that? I'm sitting here looking for more stuff here.
Oh, now Bob's gonna buy another gadget.
Freeze dryers. Have you looked? I mean, a commercial freeze dryer is like 14 grand, but
I know.
like a large home style that looks to me from the picture kind of like a dryer, like a clothes dryer, is like 5 grand.
I know. And you got to keep it busy. You got to keep it running.
Well,
so now you're buying fruit to fill it up.
Then they do have multiple shelves, so you could do several different fruits, I guess. But yeah, freeze drying honey. You could make honey powder.
Yeah, make honey. That's the first thing I thought of is make honey powder. Honey powder. Put it in a shaker.
Could you do that in a dehydrator?
Parmesan shaker.
Or would it still always just be sticky? You'd have to freeze dry it.
I talked to somebody online years ago. They said they were making like a fruit roll-up kind of a thing out of dehydrating honey.
Right.
I tried it. It didn't work for me.
It's kind of like creamed honey. It takes a long time to make. And I tried to accentuate to my customers when I'm talking to them is that I didn't just put it in a blender and whip it up, right? And put it takes weeks and weeks and weeks for me, my process, because I say that because my creamer is always running. Now, it doesn't mean that it took that long to make that batch. No, but the amount of time you leave it in, the longer the dryer. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be something to try. See how long you would have to do something like that. Well, Vevor has a freeze dryer for $3,000. It's a big machine with a little shelf in it, though. And it's got a vacuum pump on it. Let's see. Freeze dryer machine. 8.8 to 13.2 pounds. Batch of food drying. Freeze drying. So you could get one around $3,000, which oddly enough, that's about like every other piece of beekeeping equipment you can get for about $3,000.
$3,000 for just about anything.
To put that into perspective, the first car I bought was $500.
Yep.
That's well, in the 80s, you could buy a new Yugo for that amount of money.
They're still worth that much.
Yeah, they haven't appreciated or depreciated. They're just
nope.
Guess they do have for like $1,800.
I watch this guy on YouTube. He collects all kinds of really weird cars, and he's done quite a bit on his channel about his Yugo. They're truly awful.
They were definitely, you know what? A lot of the kids that in my school had, like at that time, you remember when the Hyundai first came over, like the Hyundai XL. They were very inexpensive, like $4,000 or something like that.
And they were worth it too.
Brand new. But
yeah,
you think about it, if you're trying to get your kid their first car and you want them to have something brand new with a slightly little bit of warranty, then compressor went on. But they were worth what they were designed for. And over the years, Hyundai has definitely increased their standards. I don't know if they increased their standards or we increased it on them, but you know.
Well, they're actually really good cars now. I'll wait till this is off. We have one actually. We have a 2017 Santa Fe. Love that car. What they did was before that year, I don't know what year it was, but it was somewhere in there, 2015, give or take a few years, is they they went over to Lexus and they poached a bunch of engineers.
Oh, okay.
So Hyundai's engineering went just
Went
like
right up.
that in very short order. Yeah, and they're not
Well,
perfect. They had a round of engines after that. They had a round of engines that were no good. So they've spent years replacing engines on warranty, and they've got a really bad name on engines right now. So,
I know what
that's a difficulty if we want to sell our car. People, oh, what engine?
harvesting bee venom is not difficult.
Yeah, I
It,
should do that. I think my headset's about to go dead.
it's yep. There you go.
Am I gone?
No, you're here. I just saw the honeybee compound put. He's a mechanic and he's never paid more than $800 for a vehicle. He says he always gets it with some damage and gets a good price on it and then fixes it, right?
Yep.
Gung Ho, the movie, I seen that too. Yeah, Michael Keaton and the Donger. I never remember that guy's name. 16 Candles or whatever. The moving it around here.
I'm gonna try to. My headset's going dead. We're trying to change my
microphone there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bee venom, I mean, they make a thing that you can hook up to harvest the bee venom. And then, you put it out there for a certain amount of time and turn it on and it agitates the bees, kind of like my GoPro. And then they sting it, right? But it doesn't kill them. And they get, how many bees have to sting it for you to get enough venom? And you pretty much harvest it every couple of days.
Can you hear me okay, Bob?
Yeah, you're a little bit quiet, but I can still hear you.
My headset's dead.
We out-talked your battery.
Yep.
But there is a market for bee venom. If you have the time and the effort, basically, what's a good way to show this? We'll use my phone as a piece of glass, right? Piece of glass. And this device, once they sting it, you remove that piece of glass and then you let it dry. And once it's dried, you use a razor blade to scrape off said dried bee venom. And then you collect that into a container and save it up, and then you can sell it. Let me see. What'd you say? I've got one of the bee venom deals. It'll do 5 at a time. I use the plastic clear domes and put the collection tray on top of the hive under the dome so I can monitor it and also keep bees in. So you set that thing right on top of your frames and turn it on and let the bees sting it, and then you take it out after they're all hot and bothered. Those things are not cheap, though, from what I've seen. Bee venom collectors. But then again, it's beekeeping. Nothing's cheap.
Probably a good little cash business, though.
Oh, yeah. I saw a thing. Give you an idea how much bee venom sells for.
And how much can a guy expect to collect? Right.
I'm just looking for the pure bee venom, right? 100 milligrams of bee venom is $25.
So how much can you collect? What's your yield?
I don't know. So what I've noticed is from the videos that I have seen on bee venom collection is that they actually they go out there pretty much daily and let them sting it, let it dry, then they scrape it, you know. I guess if you had multiple that you could set up to get it going, it would accelerate the process, right? And mine would probably, I'd probably be able to harvest a little bit faster. I've got some spicy bees sometimes. but you know, it's like anything else. I saw a collector for around 1K for 3 or 4 satellite units. Yeah, but you know, if you make creams and stuff for ladies, you got to be careful because if you put too much in it, it will aggravate them, right? So you got to know how to make it to where when they put it on, it doesn't irritate them and everything. You know, they like those plump lips and wrinkle removers and stuff like that. You could make all of that stuff in creams and lotions and everything. The only difference is you don't have a factory that's precisely chemically doing it, right? So you have to be careful. Or you could wholesale that bee venom to a company that can do that and then probably sell unlimited amount of bee venom. So that's I've seen some places that will actually buy it. You just have to look. But yeah, they pay a lot for it. Especially if it doesn't have a bunch of extra stuff in it, right? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. He makes lip balms and stuff like that with bee venom and creams. From what I understand, it's great on reducing wrinkles, so women really like it because it actually does aggravate their skin a little bit to where there is slight swelling, and it's the swelling that causes the wrinkles. I could use it on my chicken neck, but then I'd look like I have a big bulbous neck.
Take this away.
I'm gonna tell you what. I tried these. I don't know if you've ever tried them. The honey stingers. Have you ever tried those?
What's that?
It's basically honey waffle cone, but it's in a little disc, and it's supposed to be for energy and natural and whatever have you. They're kind of expensive in the store, but boy, were they ever tasty.
I can't eat honey.
Bee venom Leonidas. Oh, they had bee collecting at scale. But I bet, you know, these, if it's pure bee venom from bee farm, those beauty companies that make stuff, boy, they'll buy it from you because they don't raise the bees, right? They have to source it. And if you have a way to package it, or in their case, it'd probably be bulk, right? But I mean, the collection that they do, I mean, you're talking little tiny amounts, right? A lot of bees have, so you have to do it at some sort of scale to be able to collect enough fast enough for them, probably. But yeah, you could definitely do it. I mean, and from what I understand, it's not too difficult to make 10 grams in a season. If you can sell 10 grams, you're good to go. 10 or 20 grams, make some extra money. For sure. Brad, what do you have set up for the rest of your day today? You're going to keep on working at it?
2, 4, 6, 8. After this, I only have 8 more. So I might actually go to town because I need more material for my cleat for my box for my company.
10 hives, they said, collected 3.23 grams of pure white bee venom. Is that
10 hives, 3 grams.
is that in one? Was that in one day? Like they put it out there on 10 colonies and they got that much on that? Because I know you do it like every other day or something within 25 minutes.
How much did you say they pay for it? $25 for how much?
It's 1 p.m.
I still have it up here? I don't. Let me see. I'll search it again. Hold on.
3.23 grams. It was in the milligrams that you quoted.
100 milligrams is $26.19 on Etsy.
So 100 milligrams is 0.1.
500 milligrams is $60 US.
1,000 milligrams is a gram. 100 no.
So $60 for, that's basically 6. We'll just round it down to 3. 6 jars at $60 is $360. No, yeah, $360. Of course, you have to put it in the little container. And that's if you haven't done anything to it, right? Like you haven't made any balm or anything like that, because then you're actually having less grams. They put it on the hives for 25 minutes. So technically, I could go out to a bee yard, put those on for 25 minutes. Let's say I get the same amount, 3.3. Hell, I could get, if I did it in each yard, I could get, maybe 20 grams a day. Go out there a few times a week and do it. And before long, you have a nice little stockpile of it, and you can just weigh it out and put it into the containers and sell the pure bee venom.
Bob's your uncle.
500 milligram bee venom, somebody's selling for $112 on Etsy. It's in a little tiny vial like this. Little tiny vial.
Yeah, that's half a gram.
Half a gram, yep.
You notice how I did that math in my head?
Well, you use those funny numbers all day long.
It's raining like crazy again. I was saying, you asked me what I'm doing the rest of my day. I might go to town because this is the 1x8s that I make my cleats and stuff out of, and I don't have it draft, so I might have to go to town and get some and get my polystyrene at the same time. So that's what I might be doing.
That's also what they use the bee venom in the shots for bee sting allergies.
Or do they?
But if you're selling it to that level of pharmaceutical, you'd probably have to have some kind of certification on the way that you're harvesting it and
you're injecting it then, yeah. Yep.
But if you're selling it on Etsy, there's probably not that many standards for that. Or you figure all the people that make their creams and lotions and stuff in Etsy, that would be a thing. $300 a gram. So that would be a good thing. But
$300 a gram. You get 3 grams off of 10 hives. So it's $1,000 off 10 hives, $100 a hive.
so you could scale it. You could buy one of those things, harvest enough and sell it, and then buy another one, and then all of a sudden you can make twice as much and kind of ramp it up that way. But it would take a minute to get it going.
That's the way to do it. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing.
Let's see. Bee venom collectors. See if they got them on Amazon. They do have them on Amazon. You can get one for $316. And let me see. They have a portable. Well, it looks like the same machine, but you get 2 collectors for $600 that'll run off the same controller. And then for $700, they got a 4.
They run on mains power.
Do what?
Do they run on mains power?
Mains power.
What power?
Let's see. I'll actually share this before I was getting ready to get back to work, but you guys have defiled me here. So they do sell them on Amazon. So I guess it would be kind of weather sensitive there, right? You couldn't do it when it was raining out, obviously. It'd have to be a nice day. Hell, I could just wring my jacket out at the end of an inspection. I'd probably have enough. My gloves and everything, wring them out. Let's see.
Yeah, your bees.
A microcomputer bee venom collector.
A bee venom collector in your world is called clothing.
I wonder if that one will control up to 3 different sets of them. Built-in timer and adjustable voltage knob adapter to hive sizes. Collect venom in 10 minutes with 300% efficiency boost. High yield investment. Harvest 5 to 10 grams of venom daily depending on hive size. And enjoy lifetime technical support for rapid ROI.
Well, there you go.
Well, you can't create honey in the winter, but if it's warm enough they can fly, you can get them to sting the shit out of a piece of glass. Harvest venom in the winter. Well, you know what? If you were into that, you could probably even get people in your bee club to allow you to bring it out to their yard and harvest some of their bees' venom.
Rent it.
I thought about that a while back, about doing it myself as well. But, you know, then again, it's only $316, Brad. Only.
In my world, that's a lot of money these days.
That's only, we can do the bee math. It's only 31, 32 pounds of honey. It's in Chinese writing. That'll make it fun. It even has a fun button on it. It says fun right there. You click it. There's a button that says fun. You just hit fun and you're good to go.
That'll be fun. That's pretty hilarious.
Oh, and the price dropped. It was $500, and now it's only. It went down to $299, and now it's $316.
Oh, for why?
All right. I got some investigation to do. You never know what Bob's going to come up with. I just paid a credit card off. No, I'm just kidding.
That's burning a hole in your pocket.
But anyway, we've been on here for right at 2 hours, so I got to get back to work. Brad's got stuff to do. Definitely appreciate all of you that came in and watched and hung out with us for a while and hit a couple topics. I will be live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're available, come on over and hang out with us, and hopefully people will join, and we'll have some nice conversation. I hate to cut it short when nobody has time to join, but if they do join and come in, I stay on for as long as I can. But yeah, that would be interesting. Now I'm going to have videos playing on the side here while I'm doing my work to see all about this thing here, see what we can come up with. And well, once you get it, then you got to find a market for it, right? Where to sell it.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
You better land that before you invest a bunch of money. I'm gonna whack this one.
So it is a good thing, though. Anyway, guys, we appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us and seeing what Brad's got going in the wood shop. And
Thanks for spending time with me in the wood shop.
oh, you know what? I didn't tell you. When I went to Virginia, the first day I was there, you just go and set up. The show doesn't really start till the next day. So I drove down to the Hard Rock Casino in Bristol with some of my honey money, and I won $1,200. And then I did the respectable thing of leaving.
The casino's a better bet than beekeeping.
Well, it was on this day anyway. So I doubled my honey money and left.
Good for you. We're on both of those fronts. Good for you.
So now it's now to be able to pay my house payment this month.
Yay.
Anyway, you guys have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.